Caitlin Clark nudges her off because Jacy stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor.
You know what the commissioner should do? Mabrey should be out for 10 games. 10 games at least. I mean, you've got to, at some point, the commissioner has to step in.
There was no flop there. Marina Mabrey did a straight beeline run to Caitlin Clark and checked her. You got Lexi Hole saying, Jacy, what the hell is wrong with you? This was all game, folks. All game. Caitlin Clark.
What happens when the face of your league gets body slammed and the people in charge do absolutely nothing? That's the question burning across every comment section right now. Because new footage from the Indiana Fever vs. Connecticut Sun game just dropped, and it's even worse than fans imagine. Forget hard fouls or competitive plays. This wasn't basketball. It was a straight-up takedown.
And the fact that the referees didn't automatically throw her ass right out of that arena is exactly why all eyes are on the WNBA, the commissioner, Adam Silver, the NBA. Oh my goodness.
Marina Mabrey didn't just collide with Caitlin Clark. She targeted her. The new camera angle shows it crystal clear. Mabrey lowers her shoulder, drives straight through Clark, and sends her crashing to the floor like a linebacker looking for a highlight hit. You watch it once, and your jaw drops. You watch it twice, and you realize this wasn't an accident. It was deliberate. And yet, no ejection, no suspension, not even a flagrant 2.
Marina Mabrey, boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there. Marina Mabrey did a straight beeline run to Caitlin Clark and checked her. You got Lexi Hole saying, Jacy, what the hell is wrong?
They profit off her image but let her take the hits. If that sounds backwards to you, subscribe and stay in the fight. Let that sink in. The WNBA's most valuable player just got decked on national television, and the refs let it slide like it was no big deal. But that's not where the outrage stops, because just moments before, it was Jacy Sheldon in Caitlin's face, literally, hands up, digging toward her eyes. Fans didn't call it a foul, they called it an eye gouge. And somehow, Clark was the one who got slapped with a technical. You cannot make this up. She gets scratched in the face, slammed to the floor, and then gets punished for it. That's not just poor officiating, that's targeted injustice. And fans, they've had enough.
Now, everybody is fully aware. All right? We're not talking about basketball after these games. We're talking about incidents. I just said yesterday or the day before, we're talking about an incident once or twice a week, every week in this league.
The league tried to move on like nothing happened. They posted a bubbly Commissioner's Cup promo right after the game, as if millions of people hadn't just watched the most protected player in the league get tossed around like a rag doll. It backfired, badly. The post was quote tweeted into oblivion. Comments poured in calling the league a joke, corrupt, and ashamed to profit off Clark while letting her be assaulted. And the word assaulted isn't just drama, it's exactly what people are seeing in this footage. And here's where things get ugly. Fans are starting to notice a pattern. Clark isn't just playing against other teams, she's playing against the system. Week after week, she's shoved, taunted, hit, and now body slammed, all while the league stays silent. Why? Why does it seem like players, refs, and even leadership resent her? Is it jealousy? Is it politics? Is it race? No one will say it out loud, but the silence is louder than any statement.
So the 3 referees that I like to say, they got them straight out of Sephora, because I don't think these referees have ever refereed a professional basketball game in their life. They took these referees, they were at the monitor, they looked at it for, I'm not even exaggerating, you guys, like 15 minutes.
Wayne Gretzky once said that opponents didn't touch him because he made everyone rich. He brought value, respect, longevity. But in the WNBA, the player saving the league gets cheap shot every week, and nobody steps in. Nobody protects her. Instead, they keep cashing the checks she's generating while turning their backs when she's under attack. This isn't basketball anymore, it's a hit job. It's WWE-style takedowns disguised as defense, and fans are waking up. Some are saying Clark should walk. Some say boycott the league. Others want the NBA to cut funding entirely until real accountability kicks in. Because when you promote someone as your star, but allow her to get publicly dragged without consequence, you're not just risking a player, you're risking the future of your entire league. That's exactly what happened to Caitlin Clark, and fans are calling it one of the most embarrassing moments in WNBA history. During a heated matchup, Jacy Sheldon got up in Clark's face, reaching dangerously close to her eyes in what many are calling a blatant irate. But things didn't stop there. Marina Mabrey came charging in seconds later and slammed Clark to the ground with full force. No play on the ball, just raw aggression. It looked more like a wrestling move than anything you'd expect in professional basketball. Naturally, fans waited for a whistle. They got one, but it was against Clark. Somehow, after getting attacked not once but twice, she got slapped with a technical foul. The refs didn't eject anyone. They didn't even give out a flagrant. Just a tech on the player lying on the ground. That single moment lit up social media with outrage. People weren't confused, they were angry. Clips of the incident went viral, and fans started calling it what it looked like: targeted punishment. This wasn't just bad officiating, it felt like a warning. Like the league was trying to send a message, not just to Clark, but to everyone watching: you may be our star, but we won't protect you. That's why thousands of fans started asking the same question: why is the WNBA doing this? Is it jealousy? Politics? Spite? Because it's hard to argue this was just a missed call when it keeps happening, game after game. People aren't even debating it anymore. They're calling it sabotage. They're saying the league would rather let Clark get knocked around than admit she's their biggest draw. And now, the trust is gone. If the WNBA thinks fans are going to keep watching while their most valuable player gets hacked, gouged, and thrown to the ground without protection, they're in for a rude awakening. Because no one wants to watch a league that punishes the victim and protects the problem. How do you run a professional league, put your biggest star on the court, and then let her get bullied every game with zero protection? That's the question fans are screaming at the WNBA right now, and the answer so far? Silence. The officiating has become a full-blown joke. Not just bad, laughable. And the person taking the blame? Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Because let's be honest, when things fall apart from the top down, leadership has to answer for it. Caitlin Clark is getting shoved, scratched, slammed to the floor, and barely drawing whistles, while players who attack her walk off grinning. It's not basketball anymore. It's street ball with a scoreboard. And the people responsible for enforcing the rules? They've completely lost control. No consistency, no accountability, just chaos. And while the refs keep missing calls, the league keeps looking away. Every single game, fans are tuning in not to see highlights, but to see what happens to Clark this time. And that's not a sign of a growing league. That's a red flag. You've got a once-in-a-generation talent bringing in more viewers, more merch sales, more buzz than the WNBA has ever had, and instead of protecting her, they're punishing her. They're treating her like a problem instead of a solution. And Cathy Engelbert is either too weak to fix it or too stubborn to admit it's happening. The league she runs is built on drama, not competition. And people are sick of it. This isn't just about a few missed calls. It's about a pattern, a clear effort to ignore what's happening on the floor because admitting it would expose just how broken the system really is. You can't say you care about the game's future while standing by as your most important player gets treated like a punching bag. If Engelbert had any control, Marina Mabrey would have been suspended for that body slam. Jacy Sheldon would have faced consequences for that irate. And Clark wouldn't be the one getting hit with a tech after being attacked. But none of that happened. Why? Because protecting Caitlin Clark doesn't fit the WNBA's agenda. It exposes their favoritism, their hypocrisy, their failure. And now, fans are waking up. They're calling it what it is, a biased, broken league with zero leadership and even less accountability. And it starts with Cathy Engelbert. Because when your refs can't do their jobs and your players run wild with no consequences, it's not just an officiating problem. It's a leadership crisis. Why does it feel like the WNBA hates its own star? Caitlin Clark didn't just walk into the league with hype. She brought with her national attention, sold-out arenas, and millions of new fans. But instead of being celebrated, she's been met with cold shoulders, hard fouls, and silence from the top. It's not just competition, it's something darker: jealousy. You can see it in the way players talk about her, or don't talk about her at all. The subtle eye rolls in interviews, the extra shoves after the whistle, the cheap shots that never get called. This isn't normal rookie treatment. It's personal. And it's not just coming from the court, it's coming from the top, too. League leadership hasn't once stepped in to defend her, even as she gets body-checked, targeted, and baited into drama every week. Instead, they've watched quietly while their biggest asset gets dragged down by teammates, opponents, and even officials. Why? Because deep down, they resent what she represents. Caitlin is changing the game, and the old guard doesn't like it. They don't like that the jersey people are lining up to buy isn't theirs, and they definitely don't like that she's white, from the Midwest, and doesn't play by the unspoken rules. Her success shines a light on everything the league hasn't been able to do for decades, and that light is blinding to the ones who've gotten comfortable in the shadows. That's why the hits keep coming, and no one lifts a finger. That's why she gets shoved and smacked, and the officials pretend not to see it. That's why veterans, who've played for years without making a dent in the ratings, act like she's some kind of threat. Because she is, but not to the game, to their egos. And the leadership? They'd rather side with jealousy than stand up for the one person actually saving their league. They're choosing bitterness over business, pride over progress, and fans are noticing. The question now isn't whether Caitlin Clark can survive in this league, it's whether the league can survive without her. Because at the rate they're going, they might just push her out, and when she leaves, don't expect the fans to stick around. At the start of the season, they were loud about physicality. It was everywhere, ads, promos, interviews. They were proud of it. They wanted fans to know this league was tough, gritty, full-contact basketball. But then, something changed. Quietly, that word disappeared. The league's tone shifted. Instead of celebrating physicality, the word became dominance. And not by accident. They wanted you to think it was branding. But really, it was damage control. The switch happened fast, and it wasn't random. It came right after a wave of public backlash. Video clips of Caitlin Clark getting hammered on the court were going viral. Fans were furious. They weren't seeing defense, they were seeing cheap shots. And suddenly, the WNBA's favorite word, physicality, started working against them. They were getting exposed. People began connecting the dots. The league that proudly ran ads about being physical was now being accused of encouraging dangerous play. So instead of addressing it, they did what cowards do. They rebranded. Quietly, strategically, hoping no one would notice. But people did notice. Because you can't promote violence one week, then pretend it's all about dominance the next. Especially when fans have the receipts, the old ads, the clips, the headlines, and the bruises on Caitlin Clark's body to back it all up. Changing the word doesn't change the truth. And this isn't just a lazy pivot, it's a cover-up. A weak attempt to distract from the fact that the league's top player is being targeted weekly, and no one's doing anything about it. Instead of stepping in and enforcing rules, they rewrote the story. But that wasn't the whole story, because the new dominance narrative still carries the same problem. Who's allowed to dominate? Because it's clearly not Clark. Every time she tries, she's punished, fouled, attacked, mocked. And if she responds, it's a tech. So what does dominance really mean in the WNBA? Because based on what we've seen, it's just code for we'll protect our favorites and punish the threat. And Caitlin Clark is the threat. Not because she's doing anything wrong, but because she's changing the game faster than they can control it. And when that happens, weak leadership doesn't adapt. They panic. They patch holes in the ship with cheap PR. They scrub words from slogans. They act like it never happened. But fans remember, because fans saw what happened. And no last-minute word swap is going to erase it. How do you make millions off someone's name, image, and jersey sales, then stand by while she gets assaulted on the court? That's the question fans are asking after Marina Mabrey's brutal hit on Caitlin Clark went unpunished. No ejection, no suspension, not even a flagrant foul. And the response online wasn't quiet. It was a tidal wave of rage. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Instagram, fans tore into the WNBA with one unified message: enough is enough. People aren't dumb. They saw the clip. Mabrey didn't make a play on the ball. She made a beeline for Clark's body and sent her crashing to the floor. And the refs just let it happen. That's what sent fans over the edge. The same league that plasters Caitlin's face on every promo, every commercial, every broadcast, didn't lift a finger to protect her. They love her when it's time to sell tickets. They love her when it's time to push merch. But when she's bleeding, bruised, or flat on her back, suddenly, they have nothing to say. One fan put it perfectly: the WNBA wants the money Clark brings, but not the responsibility that comes with it. Another said, they're using her to prop up a broken league, and letting her get broken in the process. And they're right, because this isn't an isolated incident. This is a pattern. Every week, she's targeted. Every week, she's shoved, scratched, cheap shot. And every week, the league pretends it's just part of the game. But that's not defense, that's envy. And fans are sick of pretending it's not. What makes it worse is the silence. No apology, no suspension, not even a statement. Just business as usual, as if nothing happened. But fans aren't moving on. They're tagging the NBA, demanding that Adam Silver step in. They're calling for investigations. And most of all, they're threatening to walk away. Because if the WNBA won't protect the one player keeping it alive, why should fans protect the league? The truth is simple. You can't have it both ways. You don't get to build your brand on someone's back and then ignore them when they get knocked down. That's not just hypocrisy, it's exploitation. And fans, they're done being quiet about it. After weeks of brutal fouls, ignored calls, and what many are calling a clear campaign against Caitlin Clark, public opinion has reached a breaking point. And the message isn't just anger, it's warning shots. People aren't just complaining anymore, they're demanding action. Some want Clark to walk away, others want the NBA to cut the funding, and many have already said they're done watching until something changes. It's no longer a handful of frustrated fans, it's a movement. Just scroll through any WNBA post and the comment section is full of people calling out the hypocrisy. Protect Caitlin or lose the crowd, one user said. Another wrote, if she keeps playing in this league, she'll get seriously hurt, and nobody's doing a thing to stop it. Some even suggested she should sit out the rest of the season entirely, just to send a message. Not because she's weak, but because she's being set up to fail. And the league's silence? That's only pouring gas on the fire. No suspensions for dirty plays, no statements condemning the hits, no signs of accountability from the top. It's like the WNBA thinks fans will just keep showing up anyway. But that illusion shattered fast. Now people are tagging Adam Silver in every thread, begging the NBA to step in and clean up the mess. They want the funding cut. They want investigations. They want leadership held accountable. Because if the WNBA can't protect its most important player, maybe it shouldn't be trusted to run a league at all. And here's the part no one wants to admit. The fans are right. You don't get to profit off someone's image while ignoring their safety. You don't get to put Clark front and center in every promo, then sit back when she's targeted game after game. That's exploitation, and people are done pretending otherwise. This isn't about a bad call or a single foul. It's about a broken system, a league that refuses to evolve, and fans who are finally saying, we've had enough.